What's up everybody, Joe from Mojo Break Gaming here. Today we've got a video covering the BT10 format, specifically focusing on my boy DarkKnightmon. This is a deck that I'm going to be playing first and foremost as soon as this set comes out, which is in about 2 weeks officially. It's going to be pre-release this weekend and then official release the following weekend. We will be carrying boxes, so be sure to head over to mojobreakgaming.com to go ahead and check out some of the boxes that we have up for pre-order. Those will be coming out in about, probably by the end of the week, we'll launch the pre-orders for that set. So just keep a lookout for that later this week. Something that I wanted to go over is just sort of deck builds that you can kind of get in early. Things that you can just try to build when you progress playing that deck and get more experience. You kind of adjust numbers and maybe add different cards here and there. Currently, this is how I saw the build for DarkKnightmon. It's very heavily invested in level 4s, has a lot of Digicrossing and combos that basically just pop off, and there's some support with option cards and tamers that will help this deck out quite a bit. This deck does have some answers to Shoutmon because of its ability to pop tamers and pop things with low play costs and things of that nature. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go over the deck list and show you what I have built so far. This card is very, very good. It's an all turns. If you have Twilight in the traits, you get 1,000. DarkKnightmon is a set that has Twilight in the traits, so you're going to be getting that 1,000 buff all the time, which is pretty essential. We're going to stick with just the 4 eggs for now, and then we're going to go ahead and scroll over to the black zone right here. This is going to be a very, very good level 3 searcher. In my build, I actually don't run many 3s. You're going to see a very, very small number of 3s. So running a full play set of these are really, really good. There's no inherent effect, but the eggs inherent effect, getting that 1,000 buff, serves a really good purpose. So just to get this one going, it's basically a reveal top 4 and add up to 2. You can add 2 cards that are either black with Knightmon or Deadly Axemon in their names, or with Twilight in the traits, which is basically almost every card in this deck. In terms of the Digimon, right? And then the rest go to the bottom. That is insane for a searcher. So if you get this on opening turn, you're looking pretty good. It's a just really good way to get started and go fast. Next card that I find really, really cool is going to be this Skull Knightmon Mighty Axe Mode. Now this thing, it's pretty good. It's a 4-drop and it has the new mechanic Digicross. If you guys don't know what Digicross is, it's basically an effect that lets you reduce your play cost. And in this example, it says Digicross -1, so it'll let you reduce its play cost by 1 for every card that is right next to that effect there. And how it works is you play Skull Knightmon Mighty Axe Mode, and let's say you have another Skull Knightmon or Deadly Axemon in your hand. You can put those 2 cards underneath Skull Knightmon Mighty Axe Mode to reduce its play cost by 2, making it a potential 2-drop, which is really, really cool. And it has an on-play effect, which is actually benefiting from the Digicross as well. So we'll go ahead and talk about it. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Knightmon in its name, Deadly Axemon, or Nene, which is the tamer in this deck, which we'll go over later on in this video. So you can add 1 Knightmon, a Deadly Axemon, or a Nene among them from your hand, and then you're going to trash the rest of those cards. If you Digicrossed, again, we talked about this just earlier, with 2 materials, which is either Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4. So on play, Digicross those 2, make him a 2-drop, and then you can pop something that's a 4-drop, 4 play cost or less, which is pretty good. Mind you, it's not level, it's just play cost, which is potentially really, really good. Especially gets rid of those early little rookies that have effects like memory gainers or play cost blockers, or certain cards that or just essentially just to nag you. This is a good way to just pop some of those little guys right there. So he's really, really good. He's also a good counter to the mirror match. Obviously you can pop one of these if they have it on the field, and he's 5k DP. He'll get that 1,000 buff from the level 2, and that's just a really, really good card. He's also treated as a Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon, so that really, really helps when you're doing searching and you need to find Digimon with those names. He serves as both, so having a play set of him is very, very essential. And I know I'm kind of talking a little bit more in detail about these cards, but it's just so we can kind of understand what this deck is and what it does and how it works and where it benefits the most. Also in BT10, what you're going to be looking for is this DarkKnightmon card right here. He is a rare, so you probably need about maybe 2 or 3 boxes tops to where you can get a playset of him if you guys are buying boxes. Usually you can get a playset with 2 boxes, but sometimes you get unlucky. It happens. But here is he's an 8 cost on play. And as you see, he also has a Digicross -2 mechanic. So basically, you see these 2 Digimon right here. Every card that you put underneath this Digimon when you on play it, you'll -2 on the play cost. So with 2 Digimon here, you can potentially minus up to 4, making him a 4 drop should you have those cards. And remember, a card like this serves as one of those names. It's treated as a Skullknightmon and Deadly Axemon, which serves for the reason right there, Skullknightmon or Deadly Axemon. So he counts as one of those pieces. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about the on-play effect here. He de-digivolves 1 on your opponent, on your opponent's Digimon. Then if you Digicross with 2 materials, so if you had these 2, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. So that's just another way of deleting and playing. You're basically progressing while deleting their board. If it applies. So if they have a level 5, you can de-digivolve that level 5, and if that play costs of 5 or less, you can then pop it. Potentially wipe another 5 off board in that sort of combo scenario right there. All turns when this Digimon would be deleted by returning 1 level 4 or lower black Digimon card from this Digivolution sources. You can play 1 Skullknightmon or Deadly Axemon from this Digivolution cards without paying its cost. So it's basically like when it dies, it basically revives itself in just a smaller form, which can just be kind of annoying. It's almost like an armor purgy kind of scenario right there. Next, we're going to run in BT10 4 of the DarkKnightmon X Antibody. It's the level 6 from the set. If you know, it digivolves 5 off of a level 5. But 4 off of a DarkKnightmon, which is that one over there. So if you play that DarkKnightmon level 5 for a play cost of 4, you can then evo into this one for a level for 4. And then we'll go ahead and talk about his Digivolve. Return 1 black or purple Digimon card other than DarkKnightmon X Antibody. So basically, you can return 1 black or purple Digimon other than this card from your trash to your hand. Then when this Digimon has DarkKnightmon or X Antibody in its Digivolution cards, delete 1 Tamer and unsuspend this Digimon. Unsuspending is important because the Tamer will allow you to have blocker, so you'll be able to unsuspend, pass turn perhaps, and then gain blocker, and then pop a Tamer, which is really, really important. That's one of the counters that it will do against the other decks that revolve around Tamers. So just another Tamer removal, which is very, very nice in this deck. It also has a on deletion effect. It says, on deletion, you may play 1 DarkKnightmon from your trash without paying its memory cost. So you can kind of see already a trend of what's happening here. You're trashing certain cards, and you're being able to special summon those from the trash on the field with these on deletion effects. If now we're going to go ahead and scroll over to the Tamers. This is Nene Amano. This is this is a really good Tamer. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Knightmon or Deadly Axemon in its name, or Twilight in its traits, furthering just making it almost any one of your Digimon here in this build. You pick one of those cards and the rest go to the bottom. And then on opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with DarkKnightmon in their names or Twilight in their traits gain blocker. So it's spreading board, getting aggressive, and getting blocker to basically slow down your opponent while you go fast. On deletion, if this Tamer does get popped by some sort of Digimon that pops Tamers, it gains 2 memory, which is a good counter to, let's say, Black War Greymon. If he's going to pop my Tamer, we'll be gaining memory for that effect as well. Just a really nice thing to have. It didn't need to have that, but it has that, and we'll gladly take it. So 4 Nenes right there. And then another really good card in this deck is called Immortal Ruler. On this one, you're going to be playing for the most part when you do have Nene. It's very reliant on Nene because not all the time will you be having a purple card in this deck unless you have the level 6 on board. But for the most part, you're really going to be playing this when Nene is on board, because if Nene's on board, you can play this card without meeting the color requirements, which is really good. It's a 0 cost, and here's what it does. Main, trash the top 3 cards of your deck. Then you may play one DarkKnightmon from your trash, paying its play cost. So then, if a Digimon with Digicross requirements would be played, you may also place cards from your trash as its Digivolution cards when you Digicross. So what that essentially means is, let's say you trash a DarkKnightmon and then you play this DarkKnightmon right here. If it's a Digimon with Digicross effect, and you can basically pick the Digimon that it needs for Digicross and pick them from the trash instead of your hand, which is almost gonna be all the time. And it's most ideal because not a lot of times you're gonna have a really big hand, you know what I mean? So being able to play this from the trash is really good. So in that sense, I like to run 3 of these because I expect this to pop off more times than it's not. And there's other ways that I'm going to get Digimon in the trash, which we'll talk about later. And that's it for the BT10 format of cards we're going to need for the DarkKnightmon. Now let's go over to the starter deck real quick. This is going to be from the Ragna Lordmon. This card is going to be Chikurimon from starter deck 13. This card is really good because it's kind of a counter to your own matchup and to other Digimon that like to Digicross. What it says is all turns, players can't reduce play cost. So that's really good. So again, if my opponent's trying to do a card with Digicross, they can't Digicross and reduce its play cost if this card is on the field. So it's a good black card right here. Axemon is the purple card, but now black has a good one. So we're going to run 2 of those for this deck. And that's actually going to complete our level 3s. I'm only going to be running 6 level 3s in this build for now. And of course, we're going to have to play test it and see what happens with that, if we're going to need more 3s and kind of adjust from there. So anyways, just 6 level 3s. The main reason why is because we're going to be playing a lot of our 4s anyways. If you see this is a 3 Evo cost, you might as well just play it for 4 and get the Digicross effects going, which is going to be happening more times than you're going to be Digivolving in the egg area and building up in your egg area. This is a very playing on the battle area kind of deck. This is a really good card. It's called DarkKnightmon BT10. It serves the name DarkKnightmon. It has a Heron effect, and I like to get this one in a playset because I want that security +1. Also, he does have a when attacking effect. You may trash all the Digivolution cards of one of your deadly Axemon and place it at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to Digivolve this card into a DarkKnightmon in your hand without paying its memory cost. So it's just another tricky combo that you can potentially pop off with. If you, let's say, Evo into the egg area, then you go into this for 2, then you raise up, then you swing, then you pop that other combo or something like that. Like, you can really make some pop-offs with this. What's really good also about it, it's a 4 play cost. This will matter with another card, which we'll talk about in the future. So DarkKnightmon, it serves the name, and it's really good. Another good card I like is DarkKnightmon Cavalier Mode. This one is another 4 play cost. Again, that will come up and matter later on. This one gets jamming. If when Digivolving, he gets jamming and blocker, which is good to have in case you don't have the Nenes until the end of your opponent's turn. So you can basically Evo for 1 on top of DarkKnightmon if you need to get that jamming, get that security +1 swing, which can be 2 checks with jamming, which is really good if you need to go that aggro route. It's just good. It's a really good card. So it serves the name. Oh, another good reason, it serves the name as DarkKnightmon and Deadly Axemon. So it counts as another piece when you Digicross. You can use this as the Deadly Axemon if you needed to count for that as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and cover a Digimon called Deadly Axemon. If you guys see the name from the Digivolution cards, here is Deadly Axemon. On play, reveal top 5 cards of your deck. Add up to 2 cards with Knightmon in their names among them to your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom, which is why it's important to have certain Digimon to have Knightmon in its name. which is really, really good. So you can find that piece in case you do need to unplay the Deadly Axemon. He has a really good inherent effect. Your turn, while you have Knightmon or Bargramon in its name, you get 2000 DP, which is a potentially really, really good buff if you need to get that strong. So he serves really, really good. We're going to run a playset of him. So that's another 4 right there. And we're going to continue to the next Digimon here. This one's actually going to be DarkKnightmon. DarkKnightmon basically is an on-play. You can place a Skull Knightmon and or Deadly Axemon from your hand, or trash under this Digimon and its Digivolution cards in any order. Basically getting those inherent effects if you have those inherent effects, which is really, really good. So you get that 2000 buff or the security +1 buff, which can be really, really good. He also serves well with the level 6 that we talked about. If he dies, you can play a DarkKnightmon. He's really, really good for that as well. So we're going to run in this deck, we're going to just run 3 of these because the other one is a little more important and we kind of want to find room for some other cards. So we're going to try out 3 Darkknightmons and see if that's a mistake or not. You guys are welcome to adjust there. But we're going to go ahead and run 3 of these guys. He also has an all turns effect. When this Digimon's deleted, you may play one of those Skull Knightmons and or Deadly Axemons from this Digivolution cards suspended without paying their cost. So if it dies, you can play those 2 cards. If you did put 2 cards underneath them, suspended, and he just basically spreads out, which is really, really cool. I like it. I think that's really, really unique. And of course, the artwork is just badass. So why not? So 3 of those guys right there. And that's going to actually conclude my 3 through 6s. We're going to run 2 level 7s in this deck. If you guys don't know what card is busted right now, it's going to be Death Axemon. 2 Death Axemons in this deck. It serves as a black card, which is really, really good. And it's going to be able to reduce its play cost by 3 for each of your opponent's Tamers and or Digimon. Players that are going to be using a lot of Tamers are going to be playing those Tamers. This is just going to benefit huge if your opponent doesn't have a way to block play cost reduction. This card will definitely punish. It'll de-digivolve, and then it's just a card your opponent's just going to have to deal with. So running 2 of these feels nice. Anything more kind of feels a little bricky. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about some other Tamers that we want to play in this deck. We're going to run 2 of these. He's our memory setter. And on play, reveal top 3. You gain a memory if they're all black, which is going to be every single card in this deck. So we're going to make sure of that. So this is always going to be able to gain us memory, even if it gets hit in security, which kind of can save you the game. It saved me in a game in a tournament before. So really, really good card right there. And then another one we're going to be considering running is going to be actually the Izzy and Joe. It's just another good way to just draw your pieces if we need it to. And if your opponent does go wide board, you're going to gain 2 memory, which can potentially keep your turn alive if you're going to be hard playing those 4 costs, etc., or 5 costs or 8 costs. Whatever those big cost cards are, this card can potentially set you to 5 if you have the Izzy Joe combo right there. So having just 1 of him for now. I wish I could add more, but we're in a bit of a tight space for room. Another 4 cards that I want to talk about is a really, really good card. This is what I was talking about. Having that 4 play cost is very, very important because of Pride Memory Boost. It is a 4 play cost of its own. It's a memory boost, so you'll be able to gain 2 memory on delay. And then this one's really good because it's on play, reveal, or on main, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 black Digimon card with a play cost of 4 or less among them without paying its memory cost, and then you're going to trash the remaining cards. This is why it's good to trash certain cards, so you can then recycle those cards from the other effects that we talked about, which is really, really good. So again, it's going to trigger one of those level 4s that have the 4 play cost on play effects, which is almost always going to show up. We're running 16 of them, so this card will be very, very present. Final card I threw in here is going to be just kind of like a maybe we'll need it card. It's Breath of the Gods. It's a 2-drop. It'll basically give you reboot if you have Nene on the field. That Digimon will most likely have, it should have blocker. And then you can't get your DP reduced or returned to hand, which kind of does happen still, especially with certain Shoutmon decks that like to reduce DP, or other decks that like to reduce DP. This card will kind of protect you from that. So running just 1 of those feels important. So that's going to conclude our build. There goes the 50 card deck build that I've got for DarkKnightmon to start us off for BT10. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this build. Where would you go differently? What are you most excited about this deck? What kind of flaws do you see in this deck? And yeah, it would be a great way to just kind of build discussion for all the Dark Knight community, because I'm hyped at least. I hope you guys are too. We're going to be covering the Jesmons, the Ragnar Lordmons, etc., the Shoutmon builds, etc. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, pre-orders for this product for BT10 will be coming out by the end of the week, so stay tuned for that. And without further ado, Joe signing off, wishing y'all good luck, and let's go for BT10. Peace.